Well, good morning. I missed it by 45 minutes. Today, well, good afternoon. Today we're going to do two things. We're going to do the very best, most awesome, easiest, timeless rice pudding you ever tasted. Takes 15 minutes, just cook time under pressure, and any kind of a pressure cooker. I have made rice puddings from, the stir to the eggs, the tempering to takes hours and hours. But no, this is without a doubt the best recipe ever. You can use any style rice that you have on hand as well. Now, the one thing with the rice, I do rinse it until the water runs clear, just to avoid all that sticky starchiness, because I don't like my rice pudding too gummy. And then we're going to do a beef stroganoff, and I'm going to use ground meat. I'm going to use ground turkey in that. And the noodles, instead of the egg noodles, I absolutely love these Spitzel noodles. They're from the Dutch Amish. They just have, and they're also with wheat semolina flour, which is much better for you than just regular flour. So give these a try if you can get them in your area. They're called Dutch Kuch, and they're authentic German Spitzel noodles. They take 12 to 14 minutes to cook, and they're really, really tasty. Use egg noodles, though, if you can use any pasta that you want to. But that'll come in a little bit later. I just want to let you know what we're going to be making today. So with that being said, let's get back to the rice pudding. All you're going to do, let me turn my water down for my noodles. All you're going to do with this, you're going to take a cup of your rice, rinse it well, and in here I'm going to put maybe a quarter cup, a handful of craisins or raisins, whatever you have on hand. And then I have 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. I love cinnamon. And just a pinch of salt. And then we have a quarter of a cup, and there's not a lot of sugar in this either. So a quarter cup of packed brown sugar and a quarter cup of white sugar. Put that together. And now the milk, it calls for 2.5 cups of milk and a cup of water. What I've done, when I do rice puddings, I like to make it with evaporated milk. It just has a creamier texture and it doesn't break on me. So in this, I've got 1 cup or 2.5 cups of evaporated milk. Well, actually, it's a can, and then enough water to bring it up to 2.5 cups, and then a cup of just water. That's what the recipe calls for. And I also, instead of using vanilla extract, I'm using coconut extract. You can do whatever you want. Any lemon, coconut, maple. Maple would be awesome in this. Any flavor. Orange is good for a citrusy note. So we're just going to put all this together. And that's your rice pudding. Let me scrape this out. We're just going to set our Instantpot on 15 minutes. Once it goes off, we're going to let it pressure release for 10 minutes. Let's just stir this up. Oh, it smells good already. Now, also the recipe says that you can put nutmeg. Well, you can put any, it's your recipe. You can put anything you want in it. I didn't put any nutmeg in it because I'm not a big fan of nutmeg. I like nutmeg. In rice pudding, I just as soon just have a very clean cinnamon flavor. Okay, and that's all it is. I'm going to stick this in the Instantpot for 15 minutes under pressure. That's it. Rice pudding's done. You don't even have to touch it, look at it, play with it or anything for 15 minutes. At which time, all you're going to do is just let it pressure release for 10 minutes, and then you'll quick release it, and then just take it out. And you can doctor it up any way you want. So what I'm going to do real quick is just go over the ingredients. I don't know why I put my towel away. My ingredients for the hamburger, or the ground beef stroganoff. So I told you about the Spetzel. You can use egg noodles. Any noodles you have will work. You can make this yours. So my seasoning's very simple. I threw a few of my favorite seasonings in here, which is garlic powder and onion powder. And so you have salt and pepper. I use my Himalayan pink salt, coarse ground pepper, paprika, my Badia Complete. I love this stuff. Really started depending on it. My garlic powder. I don't know if I said onion powder or not. And then it calls for a cup of sour cream at the end. And then, of course, I have my ground turkey. Already got my water on. Now, this won't take long. But in the meantime, it's really starting to storm here. So I'm going to bring you back in just a bit. So just bear with me, okay? Okay, there's some more thunder. This is the backyard. You can see where the sky is clearing a little bit. So it's all out front. That thunder is just, loud. Andy's still shaking. I'm still in my little arms. I was hoping you could hear some of that thunder. Maybe you can pick it up when I get to edit this. Yeah. And this will clear up and it'll be sunny again. Well, that was a little bit of a delay due to the really, really bad storm we had for about 15 minutes. And then I had to hold Andy and comfort him. And then Rosie got in on the act. So we're back. The rice pudding's done. I've got it parked under warm. I'll show that to you a little bit later. But I want to get this stroganoff started. Now, I'm not using mushrooms with this. I'm using onions and peppers simply because I have an abundance of onions and peppers and I want to use those up. So let me get this started here. I don't want it to get too solid. I've got my water turned back up for the noodles, which is a Dutch Spetzel noodles made out of a semolina flour. Now, feel free to use your mushrooms, please. I just want to use up some of these vegetables that I have already. So we're going to get these in there. Those cooking along with our ground turkey. And of course, please feel free to use whatever ground meat you want. Now, stroganoff is a Russian dish. In New York, the Russian tea rooms, serve this all the time. Not this particular, not the actual stroganoff. It was named after a General Stroganoff back in, I want to say, 17th, 18th century. He was visiting Russia. I'm sorry, visiting France from Russia. And was hungry for some comfort foods. So, back in the day, and still today too, the French, of course, are, known for, like, their mushrooms and cream and, all that good stuff. And then, of course, the Russians, their onions and sour cream. So, just to make a long story short, a chef at that time put together a dish similar to this, and he called it beef stroganoff after this general that was visiting from Russia. So that's how we come by stroganoff. I thought that was interesting. You know, you find so many remarkable stories about, you know, how different recipes come about. You know, it's just amazing. It amazes me that, you know, recipes just don't happen. There's a reason for them. And the culture behind a lot of recipes, if people just did a little bit of homework, you know, just Google, you know, whatever recipe you're working on, Google it, origin of. And it will tell you the origin of that particular dish. A little bit of a history lesson there. Nothing wrong with knowing where your food comes from or how it came about being. Okay, so let's get this on. I want to get these onions and peppers softened. I'm going to turn this up a little bit. I'm going to put a little bit of water in it to steam it. One of my little tricks that I like to use. I'm going to check my water and get our spetzel on, our noodles. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead. Let me cut that up. I'll waste that. I'm going to show you what else I'm doing as a thickener for this gravy or sauce, however, whatever you want to call it. There we go. Okay, so there are seasonings in there. Don't overdo this because in my thickener, which is my flour, I already put these same seasonings. So I just think it's important to season every layer of food that you go, because you don't want to just season the filling and not season the gravy. I mean, it's just like not seasoning or not putting salt in your noodle water or your pasta water. It just doesn't make sense to me why anybody would not do that. It just takes away from the flavor. Okay, so I put onion powder, a teaspoon of all of these. Onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, a little bit of the Badia Complete. I'm just going to sprinkle that on because I don't have anything else to take the lid off. It doesn't take much of this anyway. It's just a seasoned salt. And then pepper. Same thing with the pepper. Don't overdo this coarse ground pepper. Just a little bit. And that's it for the seasonings. The only other thing we have to do when this gets softened enough and browned enough is to add our milk, which again I use evaporated milk. Who that is back there? Somebody's out in my front yard. I don't know who that is. Evaporated milk. I brought it up to 2 cups. And in that will be the flour. So let me put just a tad bit of water in there and then check who's in my front yard. Please be somebody that I don't have to stop this again for. Okay, hold on, please. I'm sorry. Okay, well, we're back. Andy's back in the kitchen. He's not shaking anymore, thank goodness. Okay, so we've got our onions and peppers are sauteed down enough to where we can go ahead and make our gravy, our sauce for our stroganoff. Our noodles are boiling. I'm waiting for those to finish up. In the meantime, let me get my spatula here. We're going to take and put the mixture of 3 tablespoons of flour. Alexa, cancel timer. Let me drain these noodles. Just real quick. I don't want them to overcook on us. I better taste one, hadn't I? Just to make sure. No, I'm going to leave it go another minute or so. There are 3 tablespoons of flour in here, 1 tablespoon of my McCormick's gravy mix, just to amp up the flavor. And a scant teaspoon of each of the seasonings that we have in our beef mixture. Let's go ahead and put that in here. Now, a lot of these quickie stroganoff dishes call for canned soups. You know, I just don't see it. I can see just dumping a can of soup in here and watering it down, but all this is you just take a little bit of flour and, you know, let it cook up a little bit. Less time than it's taking to warm up a can of condensed soup, and then add your milk, and the taste is just so much better. Oh my goodness, that's all it is. So let's go ahead and turn this up just a tad, because when I add that milk, and I've had that milk sitting out for a little bit, so it's not like super cold right out of the refrigerator. And I did tell you, I think, that this is evaporated milk, and I brought it up to 2 cups. It just doesn't break like milk or cream does, which you're feel free to use. I mean, it's actually better with the cream in it. But this is just, you know, something that I have in the refrigerator and ready to go. And then I also brought out the cup of sour cream we're going to finish this with, because I just don't want to add the hot or the cold sour cream into the hot dish, because it will curdle if you do that. How do I know that? I know it. Okay. All right, let's get this added a little bit at a time, just to avoid any lumpage. Let's get it started in here like so. Then you can build on this as you go. There you go. See how that's thickening already? So as you keep adding your milk, you won't run the risk of this being lumpy. Here we go. And this is almost complete. Now I'll drain our noodles, and that's dinner. Oh, and I did dish out a rice pudding too. And here we go. And the rest of it. Put this in the sink. Yeah, the sun's blazing out there now. I took a video. I'll add it to this so that you can see the storm. I took one from the front lanai, a little piece on the front lanai, and a little bit from the back lanai. It wasn't a major storm or anything, but it came in, boom, from sun shining to boom. And then the dogs just went crazy. I feel so sorry for those little guys when it storms like that. Okay, we're almost there. Let me taste this. And then I need to drain that those noodles as well. That's got a nice consistency. Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn this off, because I don't want to add that sour cream to this bubbling. And then I'm going to drain these noodles. I think I better get my towel. I want to burn myself. Now they made a pretty good amount. I just used half of a bag, which is more than what we need for 2 people. So this will be tomorrow's meal as well. Okay, there you have it. And here are our noodles. Our spetzel noodles made with semolina flour. Okay. Now let's finish this off with our sour cream. A little bit there, a little bit there, and let's finish it off right there. Okay. Smells so good. Oh yeah, it's beautiful. That is just so pretty. Nice and creamy. That's what it's all about. Nice comfort food there. Okay, let me taste that again. By the time I finish tasting, I won't be hungry. Perfect. Okay, let's get a plate. We'll plate this. Rid of all my dirty containers. Okay. These noodles, these they are just so good in soups, like chicken noodle soup, stews. Okay. It needs no other adornment, unless perhaps you want to put like a pico de gallo on the side, or some more sour cream, or you can, before presentation to a dinner, a little bit of paprika. There you have it. Beautiful. Let's see what this tastes like. It really looks good. That is really good. That's comfort. I thought that lemon meringue pie and what we made yesterday, the onions and peppers on top of the hamburger steak, was comfort. This is right there in the top 5 comfort meals. So let me show you our rice pudding. See all that cinnamon that I have in there? I put a lot of cinnamon in there, more than what it called for. And then I sprinkled it on top, and then you've got the brown sugar in there. So, and this would be great with whipped cream. It's still warm. So for dinner tonight, we're having stroganoff on Spetzel noodles, and for dessert, we're having rice pudding with brown sugar and cinnamon. No whipped cream though. We've done enough calorie damage here. So I will actually see you a little bit later in our recap. So until then, bye-bye. Okay. Well, another day, another recipe. 2 recipes today. Today we touched down in France and Russia with our beef stroganoff. Actually, it's hamburger stroganoff because beef is $15 to get a little bitty thing. Hamburger is still expensive, but my turkey, that's what, about $3-4 a pound, which is, you know, nothing to sneeze at, but it's a lot cheaper than some of the alternatives. It's still good. You know, it's a great little dish, especially with that spetzel. You need to really try that. Those are just the nicest noodles, especially made with the semolina flour. That's more diabetic friendly, more diet friendly than regular, wheat flours. But you know, use what you want. When I say things like that, I'm not endorsing to use that. It's just something that I choose to use. But egg noodles is the go-to noodle for beef stroganoff. You can serve that with a salad or nothing at all, because it's a meal truly in itself. It's comforting. It stays with you a long time. It's one of those meals that springs home. Hello, Gallagher. Gallagher is visiting us today along with Andy. Everybody's been scared of the storm. Come here, Gallagher. Come on. So, I just wanted to recap real quick. The rice pudding turned out okay. I was a little bit disappointed in the texture this time. I believe that it could have been actually, I know, don't chase a kitty cat. It could have actually been under pressure a little bit less. But 15 minutes is what I used last time I checked. And it could have been the brand of the flour, too. This was basmati, the Tex-Mex brand that I got from Amazon. But I've used that before, too. So, you know, and two, it just could be me. This has been another one of those days. Between the storms, Andy, Rosie, the kitty cat, so on and so forth. But I'm just sending you good vibes, and I want you to take care of yourself, your friends, your family, and your loved ones. And check on your neighbors, because you never know what goes on behind closed doors. With that, I want to say goodbye for today.